guys are watching NFL Daily, presented by Man Crates. I am Cam Rogers. That's Tom Downey. Let's go through the latest NFL rumors here. First things first, did the Patriots shop around Rob Gronkowski?
In particular to 4 distinct teams. We're going to give this one 3 heads, and I definitely do think the Patriots shopped Gronk at least on some level, just doing some due diligence. And I do think, Cam, it's very noteworthy who these 4 teams were. The Titans, former GM John Robinson has Patriots roots. The Lions, Bob Quinn and Patricia have roots with the Patriots, with the Lions. Of course, Shanahan and Lynch with the 49ers. Those two seem to get along with Jimmy G. And the Texans as well with Bill O'Brien. Those are the trustworthy teams, the Patriots. I find that very intriguing there. And they didn't shop it to everybody, but focused on those 4 main teams. Very intriguing to me.
Very interesting core at that. Be sure to let us know about Rob Gronkowski. Is he a Hall of Fame tight end? Very much up for debate among many people out there, it seems.
I do think how long he plays depends, but in terms of his peak, absolutely.
All right.
And he's been the best tight end, I think, in the NFL the past few years. I don't think that's a controversial take to make either.
No, definitely not. Let's go to rumor number 2 on the list. The Texans won't extend Jadeveon Clowney this summer.
The Texans seem to be a little bit concerned about Clowney's injury history, and that's why we're only giving it the 2 heads there. Houston Chronicle beat reporter John McClain thinks Clowney is not going to get an extension done this summer, and GM Brian Gaine does not implement extensions during the regular season.
It's not what he usually does.
So you could see Clowney get a franchise tag this year, which isn't the worst thing in the world for a guy like Clowney. He had a great year last year, 9.5 sacks, bunch of hits and hurries and tackles and all that kind of stuff. I think he's worth paying, but I do understand Houston's concerns about his long-term health and his injuries there, and he's going to be expensive. I'm sure he's going to want a borderline Khalil Mack contract. I'd tag him if I were the Texans, if you really had concerns about his injury.
Playing on his 5th-year option for 2018 here, Tom, and you think maybe Jadeveon gets on the right side because he can wait for Aaron Donald to get paid and Khalil Mack to get paid, and then he can jump the board.
It benefits him to wait a little bit as well.
All right, let's go to rumor number 3. Speaking of Aaron Donald, does he want $20 million a year, Tom?
I do buy this, and I think that makes a lot of sense for Aaron Donald because he wants to, in his the report's words, reset the market for non-quarterbacks. And right now that's Von Miller with just over $19 million per year. And if you're Donald, yeah, you definitely want more. And that Von Miller contract was not last year. It was a couple years ago. The salary cap goes up and all that kind of stuff. So I fully expect Donald to get that $20 million per year. And Cam, I expect Khalil Mack to get a similar number as well.
Okay, so 3 Goodell heads there on Aaron Donald. You guys are watching NFL Daily, presented by Man Crates. We'll get to that Shaq Lawson rumor in a matter of seconds, but first, head to mancrates.com to get the awesome Grill Master Crate for the summer. There's no quicker way to separate the men from the boys than to observe how they manage a steak on the grill, folks. The Grill Master Crate is for the man who's a cool operator whenever the heat is indeed hot.
I absolutely love this crate. Now, I'm in an apartment and my grill game's down like here because, well, it's an apartment. I can still get by, but it's not the same. Normal grill game, it's up here. With this crate, it's up here,
Boom.
folks.
There you go. Rumor number 4 on the list. Shaq Lawson on the trade block, 2 heads.
We've seen the Bills be willing to trade away high picks from in the previous regime, namely Reggie Ragland. Now it sounds like Shaq Lawson might be the next guy up. Now I'm only going to give this one 2 heads. There's been a report from ESPN that he could be on the trade block. They brought in Trent Murphy. They have some other guys like Terrence Fetty, who I'm not a huge fan of necessarily. They have Ola, the kid from UCLA, and former Giant. I just don't know if it makes the most sense for the Bills to trade him away so quickly. You can almost never have too many edge rushers. I prefer to keep Lawson on the team. That depth chart without him, I don't think is a big fan. But Cam, I'll throw out one team in particular I think should go trade for him. How about the 49ers?
I like that. Throw him at Leo.
Exactly. They've been looking for that Leo type guy. He fits that role perfectly. That's an intimidating front 7.
Okay, let's get to rumor number 5. Speaking of those 49ers, are they cutting Joshua Garnett? 1 head, Tom. I don't see this happening.
Yeah, I kind of get what I think you're going for here. The guard depth chart is just not there for them to cut a former first-round pick, Cam.
Yeah, Joshua Garnett came into this offseason shedding a few pounds. He was down roughly 25 pounds, and in the Kyle Shanahan zone blocking scheme, you need to be quick and agile. That's why Weston Richburg is now there on that front line. And Garnett's going to compete with Cooper. There's no doubt about it.
And I do think that Garnett's not the ideal fit for the Shanahan scheme, because my knock on him coming out was he wasn't a quick mover. He was a big, burly guy.
Yep.
He was a mauler. I think that makes him likely to be traded, not just outright cut. I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense.
Be sure to let us know about the 49ers. Are they overrated? We threw that one in there for you
The hype train
guys.
is definitely there for sure.
All right, let's talk about Terrell Owens and the comeback to, well, the CFL. Two heads here that perhaps he could join a team out there. So
44 years old, hasn't played since 2010. I just don't see it happening, Cam. I know you're on board with it.
I am so on board the TO comeback train. It's not even funny. I don't want him in the CFL, though. I want him in the NFL, Tom.
I mean, cool, but like, why would you bring on a 44-year-old receiver who cannot help you in any way on special teams?
Hey, leadership.
Oh, yeah, T.O. is a leader. Real strong argument there, Cam.
If you were an NFL GM, would you sign Terrell Owens? Let us know in comments. Let's go to the next rumor here. Brady playing until he's 45 years old. Two heads.
Maybe he retires earlier. I think 45 is the max he plays still, though.
I agree.
This is based on an Instagram comment in which he wrote 45 in Spanish as a reply. Use the proper verbiage, by the way, not like the Ocho Cinco stuff. Brady, better in Spanish than Chad Johnson is.
There you go. All right, so two heads there on Tom Brady. Next up on the list, a Daryl Williams extension. Right tackle for Carolina, played well last year.
Yeah, and there was a report a couple weeks ago from the Charlotte Observer that said a deal was close. Now, today, a report from the Charlotte Observer says it's not close. So we're just going to give it two heads, firmly in the rumor category. Apparently, there is a, quote, monster gap between the player and the team. Maybe Daryl Williams saw what Zach Martin got and said, now, wait a minute, I want that. And now the two sides are further apart. And if a deal doesn't get done soon, maybe the Panthers have another Andrew Norwell situation on their hands, where they have a key offensive lineman entering the open market, and they just can't afford him because they got money tied up elsewhere, namely with a guy like Trey Turner.
All right, so we'll see what happens there with Mr. Daryl Williams. And next up on the rumor list, Falcons offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian on the hot seat.
This should have been four heads, baby.
Three heads,
It should have been four heads. Get Sark out of there.
Look out.
Cam, you know how I feel about Steve Sarkisian, because I think he has held back what should be the best offense in the NFL. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, now you add Calvin Ridley, most new, Taylor Gabriel last year, Austin Hooper, Tevin Coleman, and at least an above average, if not very, very good NFL offensive line. This offense should be among the best in the NFL. It was not last year, and they regressed in a very significant way. So I am absolutely putting Sark on the hot seat this year. If the Falcons have a rough start to the year, I am fine with firing him.
He can't
was
screw
a problem.
up. He cannot screw up again.
This should be a top 5 at minimum offense. It wasn't last year. If that's the case, when we get to the bye week, maybe you make a change if you're Atlanta, because I think right now, Sark's holding you back.
And you know what? This is a team that can make another Super Bowl run, Tom, so we'll see.
I totally agree.